chosen one. Pause for a moment and listen, because something ancient is awakening inside you. It's not a new idea, not a fleeting emotion, but something placed within your spirit before you ever drew your first breath. It has been silent, like an underground river, hidden like a seed beneath the soil. But now, under the heat of this season, the shell is cracking, and life is breaking through. You once believed that restlessness in your heart was a flaw, but it wasn't. It was a signal. It was the whisper of destiny, a weapon not made of steel, not shaped by human hands, but forged in light, built from the prayers you whispered in the dark and the love you gave when no one was watching. This is the weapon that no one in human history has ever carried but you. Imagine a current of power running beneath the ground, waiting for the right moment to burst into light. That is what's happening within you right now. The weapon has been forming through the years of waiting, through every tear, through every act of mercy when vengeance would have been easier. Now, it begins to glow. You were never made to blend in. You were made to ignite. Not a fire that destroys, but a fire that reveals, that warms, that drives back darkness. When this weapon awakens, you will speak words you never planned, stand in places you once feared, and see heaven move through your obedience. The Word of God declares in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3, He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He does not rush the process. He does not abandon the flame. He sits, watching carefully, refining until His reflection shines in you. That refining is not punishment, it's activation. The heat you've felt is the signal that your weapon is being awakened. Perhaps you've already begun to sense it, a strange calm in chaos. Dreams that carry clarity. A hunger to pray again. That's not coincidence. That's heaven working in silence. You may whisper, "I'm not ready." None ever are. Moses trembled before the burning bush. Esther trembled before the throne. David faced the giant with nothing but a sling. Heaven does not call the qualified. It qualifies the called, the waiting, the loneliness, the sudden closed doors. None of them came to break you. They came to build you. You are the gold being refined, the seed pushing through the soil. Pain is not a curse. It's proof that you are alive. A dead branch feels no pruning. Only the living feel the cut as your weapon steers. The very air around you begins to shift. You walk into a room and the atmosphere changes. That is not luck, that is presence. Darkness has studied you, tried to wear you down, because it knows the magnitude of what you carry, but it failed. Now, stop for a moment. Place your hand over your heart. Feel that quiet vibration. That's not anxiety, that's destiny awakening. If these words stir your spirit, take a small step of faith. Like this message. Share it with someone who carries silent strength. And subscribe so you won't miss what heaven unfolds next. Then, in the comments, write 333, a sign that you're ready for divine activation. Not as superstition, not as ritual, but as declaration. Heaven responds to faith made visible. You are not here by accident. You are not late. You are right on schedule in the plan of God. The weapon within you, the one that has never existed before in human history, is awakening, and the world is about to see. And when it rises, the ordinary will no longer fit you. You'll find yourself walking away from things that once satisfied you, because eternity is stirring beneath your skin. You'll speak differently, see differently, dream differently. What once wounded you will no longer have power to define you. You will carry peace into places where peace has never lived, and light into hearts that have forgotten how to hope. Do not resist the change that is coming. The refining fire that once frightened you will soon become your strength. The pressure, the stretching, the unknown, all of it is God shaping your weapon for precision. You are not losing yourself. You are discovering the version of you that heaven always intended. So breathe. Lift your head. The same hand that lit the stars has just touched your spirit. The weapon inside you is not awakening by accident. It's time. You were marked long before you were known. While others saw coincidence, heaven saw design. Before you ever learned to speak, your name was whispered in eternity. Every detail, your birth, your voice, even the way your heart breaks, was written with intention. Nothing about you is random. The blueprint of your existence was etched by divine hands. There was a moment before time began when the Creator breathed, and within that breath, your purpose was born. He placed within you a signature frequency, something the earth had never heard before. It is the vibration of your soul, the sound of your calling. That is why, even as a child, you felt different. You carried questions too deep for your age, emotions too large for your small frame. You were sensing eternity before you could name it, and though life tried to blur the edges of that calling through rejection, comparison, or fear, the mark never faded. It simply hid beneath the noise. When you look back, you'll realize that every detour was secretly a doorway. Every disappointment was divine redirection. You weren't being denied, you were being prepared. There's a sacred pattern in the way heaven works. It marks before it manifests. Moses was marked as a deliverer long before he ever faced Pharaoh. David was marked as a king while still smelling of sheep. Esther was marked as a queen before she ever stepped into the palace. You, too, were marked. You just didn't know what the mark meant until now. Sometimes the marking looks like loss. Sometimes it feels like being overlooked. Heaven's fingerprints rarely look glorious at first. They feel like isolation, silence, or unanswered prayer. But hidden within those quiet places, God was writing His signature on your soul. He was ensuring that when your moment arrived, you would recognize His voice above all others. According to what is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. This is not a suggestion, it is a command wrapped in promise. You were never meant to hide forever. You were destined to carry light that reveals the fingerprints of heaven in dark places. There are nights when you've questioned your worth, wondering if you've missed your moment. But eternity does not measure time the way you do. What looks like delay to you is alignment to heaven. The things you lost were not punishment, they were protection. Think of your life as a mosaic seen too closely. Up close, it's chaos, shards of color that make no sense. But step back, and suddenly, there's a pattern. God has been arranging each fragment, even the ones that cut you, into an image of divine purpose. Every scar, every triumph, every silent night, they all form the masterpiece that reveals your true design. This is why your spirit doesn't fit in small places anymore. You've outgrown environments built for who you were. not for who you're becoming. The mark on your life refuses to let you settle for ordinary. That's why you feel a pull that others don't feel, a restlessness that refuses to be silenced. It's not discontentment, it's awakening. You are walking through a holy sequence, being known, being hidden, being revealed. The first teaches you identity. The second tests your endurance. The third unleashes your destiny. And right now, you stand between the hidden and the revealed. Every time you thought you were being forgotten, heaven was writing your next chapter. Every quiet prayer, every lonely night, God was branding your soul with his fire. The mark is not visible to human eyes, but the spiritual realm recognizes it instantly. There's beauty in the way heaven hides its strongest warriors, like a sword being forged. You were kept in the shadows until your edge was ready. You were never being buried, you were being planted. And now, something in your spirit knows the season of hiding is closing. The mark is beginning to glow. The same voice that marked you before birth is calling you again, not with thunder, but with peace. You are not waiting for permission. Heaven already gave it. The world may not yet recognize what you carry, but the heavens already celebrate it. You are walking evidence of divine foresight, a living prophecy in motion. The mark upon you is not a symbol of separation, it's a seal of assignment. So step carefully, but boldly. Every breath you take now echoes with purpose. The same God who marked you in eternity is guiding your steps through time. Soon, everything that once confused you will make perfect sense. You've carried questions in silence, why your path has been so different, why doors opened for others seem to close for you. But the truth is, you were hidden for a reason. Heaven does not rush its masterpieces. The shaping of a chosen one always happens in secret. While the world slept, God was carving dimensions of strength into you that can't be learned in the spotlight. Hiddenness is not punishment, it's preparation. In the unseen, your foundation is built. Like a seed buried beneath the soil, you were pressed down, covered, and forgotten by many, but not by God. Underground is where roots grow deep. If the seed were dug up too soon, it would die in the light. That's why he kept you there out of sight, but never out of his plan. You've mistaken silence for abandonment, but silence has been the sound of your shaping. The quiet has been God's classroom. Every delay trained your discernment. Every unanswered prayer sharpened your dependence. While others were being celebrated, you were being refined. Heaven was teaching you to hear whispers instead of applause. The book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 14, records the Lord's words, "Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her." End. The wilderness isn't where you're forgotten, it's where he speaks most clearly. The absence of noise made room for his voice. Think back to the moments you almost gave up, the nights you questioned your worth, the times you watched everything you built fall apart. Yet somehow, something in you refused to die. That something was your divine weapon, pulsing beneath the rubble. Unbroken, every disappointment became fuel. Every heartbreak became training. And while you thought your story was paused, heaven was orchestrating alignment. What you called waiting, God called welding, fusing purpose and perseverance until your spirit became unbreakable. That's why your battles were heavier than most, because the weight of your future demanded it. You were never being delayed, you were being developed. There's a moment in every chosen one's journey when the silence breaks not with thunder, but with realization. You start to see that everything was necessary. The betrayal, the loneliness, even the confusion. Every piece was shaping you for a mission no one else could carry. The delay wasn't to make you doubt, it was to make you dangerous to darkness. And now, that same silence that once felt empty is filled with meaning. You can sense it, the stirring of purpose beneath your skin. The soil is starting to shift. The seed is breaking through. What once buried you is about to become the very ground you rise from. When the light touches what has been hidden, the world will see not what was buried, but what was grown. That's why God waited, not to punish you, but to protect the purity of what He planted. Your hidden years are sacred. Every tear you shed in secret was watering your destiny. Every time you resisted the urge to compromise, heaven recorded it as obedience. The enemy thought isolation would destroy you, but isolation only deepened your roots. And now the soil can no longer hold you. Your roots are strong enough. Your foundation is ready. The light you carry is mature enough to shine without burning out. So, before you step into what's next, pause and remember, the silence wasn't wasted. The wilderness wasn't wasted. Every quiet moment was prophecy in disguise. You were learning to see in the dark because you are being sent to bring sight to those still trapped there. Now, take a breath and affirm what's rising inside you. Go to the comments and write, "I was hidden well." Because you were. Heaven didn't lose track of you. It was protecting what the world wasn't ready to handle. That phrase is not just reflection, it's revelation. You're declaring that your hiddenness had purpose, that every quiet season was an act of divine strategy. Say it once, and mean it. You were hidden well because you were chosen well. And when you finally emerge, you'll realize the wilderness wasn't your punishment, it was your preparation ground. The silence that once scared you will now sound like peace. The stillness that felt empty will now feel sacred. You'll thank God for every door that didn't open, because the delay was protection dressed as denial. "I was hidden well" will no longer just be a phrase, it will be your testimony. You'll understand that being hidden saved your purity, your focus, your assignment. You were never overlooked, you were preserved. And when you rise, you'll rise with precision, with power, with purpose refined by the fire of patience. The world will see the weapon that was forged in secret and know, without a doubt, that heaven was the smith. There comes a moment when what has been stirring in the dark begins to move toward the surface. You can feel it, a hum beneath your skin, a quiet vibration in your spirit that tells you something is shifting. It's subtle at first, like the tremor before an earthquake or the breath before a storm. That's the beginning of activation. The weapon within you is stirring. You may not see anything yet, but deep inside, strength is gathering itself. Faith is finding its rhythm again. Hope is stretching its limbs after a long sleep. The season of stillness is over. Something divine is preparing to move through you. Activation doesn't look like lightning or spectacle. It often begins as awareness. Suddenly, you see differently. You sense when something is off. You discern what others overlook. This is how the weapon begins to awaken, not through chaos, but through clarity. You begin to realize that your very presence carries an atmosphere that shifts things unseen. The Spirit of God does not awaken power carelessly. It comes gently, deliberately. Every layer of your life has been built for this moment. The tears, the silence, the endurance. All of it was shaping your ability to handle what's now being entrusted to you. Heaven doesn't activate what hasn't first been anchored. It is written in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army. That's what's happening now. The breath of God is entering what you thought was lifeless. Dreams, long buried, are inhaling air again. Vision is returning to eyes that had forgotten how to see. The very bones of your purpose are reconnecting, and suddenly, what once looked like a grave is becoming an army. When the weapon inside you stirs, everything changes. You begin to feel a pull to pray again, to speak differently, to move with intention. Words carry new weight. Actions carry unseen fire. The ordinary starts to tremble under divine authority. This isn't you becoming someone new, it's you remembering who you always were. And yet, activation isn't without resistance. Every time light moves, darkness reacts. Old fears resurface. Distractions multiply. People who once understood you may suddenly feel distant. It's not rejection, it's recalibration. The frequency of your soul is changing, and not everyone will tune into that sound. But don't retreat. Stay in the current. You are being fine-tuned to the language of heaven. There's a holy rhythm to awakening. It happens between obedience and surrender. You take one step forward, unsure, and then something aligns. A confirmation appears. Peace follows. The Spirit whispers again. Keep walking. Activation is rarely comfortable. It's often confusing, but it's never chaotic. God's order hides even in mystery. In this phase, you'll find that small acts carry great impact. A word of kindness spoken in obedience will ripple further than 1,000 shouted opinions. A single prayer, whispered from your heart, will move mountains unseen. Your weapon doesn't roar, it resonates. It vibrates at the frequency of faith. That's how heaven wages war quietly, precisely, victoriously. You may feel the tension right now, something in you stretching, expanding. It's not anxiety, it's alignment. The old shell can no longer hold what's forming inside. The purpose you carry is too vast for old patterns, too holy for old fears. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. And soon, you'll notice small confirmations, a conversation that mirrors your thoughts, a verse that speaks directly to your season, a sudden burst of strength when you thought you had none left. These aren't coincidences, they're signs that the weapon is awakening. Heaven's hand is on the hilt, drawing it from the sheath of silence. Your responsibility now is simple. Stay sensitive. Don't rush the process. Listen more than you speak. Respond more than you react. The activation of your inner weapon isn't about performance, it's about presence. God isn't asking you to prove yourself. He's asking you to remain aware. You've spent years wondering when your moment would come. The truth is, it has already begun. The sound you hear within, that quiet stirring, is the signal. What was once dormant is alive again. You're standing at the intersection of prophecy and fulfillment, carrying something too holy to be explained, yet too powerful to remain hidden. So, walk carefully, with quiet confidence, The wind that once felt distant is now moving through you. The weapon that once slept inside you is awakening, and this time, it won't go silent again. When the light inside you begins to rise, darkness notices. It trembles not because you are loud, but because you are steady. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, hope instead of fear, forgiveness instead of bitterness, you disarm the enemy without lifting a hand. That is how your weapon works. Quiet strength, sacred focus, hidden fire. There's a story of a young woman, a chosen one, who thought she had nothing left to give. Her prayers felt dry, her voice small. One night, she sat beside a flickering candle and whispered, "God, I feel like this flame. I'm barely hanging on." But heaven spoke gently. Even a small flame can start a wildfire if it stays burning. She didn't realize it, but her tiny flame would ignite hundreds of hearts later. That's what happens when you keep your light alive. Others find warmth in it. You've been doing that without even knowing. Your endurance has inspired people you'll never meet. Your quiet faith has been someone's reason not to give up. Every small act of kindness, every prayer you whispered for someone else, every time you chose love when it hurt, these are the sparks that form the fire of your purpose. But this fire must keep spreading, not as an empire of fame or attention, but as a living stream of hope that flows toward those who need it most. Heaven never gives light for one lamp only. It gives light so others can find their path through yours. According to the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 25, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Lo, generosity is not a demand, it's a rhythm. Like rain, watering dry ground. Every drop matters. What you pour out returns as life to someone else. And somehow, that life circles back to you. So if these words have touched you, if you felt even a flicker of warmth in this message, I want to invite, not pressure you into the flow of that same light. When you it's like lighting a match in the dark. The glow travels farther than you think. When you share, it's as if you're placing that flame into another traveler's hands, saying, "Here, this helped me. May it help you too." When you subscribe, you're not just clicking a button, you're joining a constellation of lights. Each subscriber becomes a star in a growing sky of faith, connection, and resilience. Together, we form a map for others lost in the night. And finally, if your heart feels stirred to go further, if something in you says, "I want this flame to reach more souls," then donate, but not as obligation, not as cost. Think of it as pouring oil into a shared lamp, keeping it alive so the next soul doesn't have to stumble in darkness alone. Your donation isn't payment, it's participation. It's you saying, "This light helped me, and I want to keep it burning for someone else." Even the smallest drop of oil keeps the fire from fading. Every time you support, in any form, through a kind word, a prayer, a click, a gift, you become part of the great exchange of light. You don't give to me, you give through me, to the next weary heart waiting in silence. Heaven measures giving not by amount, but by intent. A seed planted in sincerity carries eternal weight, and your support, however small, becomes a part of that eternal echo, a light that never burns out. So let your next gesture come from freedom. Like this message, if it reignited your faith. Share it if it reminded you that light still lives in you. Subscribe if you want to walk with others who carry the same flame. And if your heart whispers yes, donate like someone adding oil to a lamp that still warms countless unseen hands. You are not giving because you must. You are giving because you can. Because once, someone else's light guided you out of the dark. Now, it's your turn to pass the fire on. And when all our lights unite, the night will no longer feel like night. It will glow with purpose. The flame will live on. And as you give, in any form, be it a word, a moment, or a gift, know this: heaven always sees. Every act of light is recorded. Every offering multiplies in unseen ways. Somewhere, someone will breathe easier because you decided to keep this flame alive. That's how divine exchange works. Quiet, gentle, unstoppable. One spark becomes two, two become 10. Then a horizon of light is born. You are part of that horizon now, a living ember in God's great wildfire of purpose. And together, we burn brighter than fear, stronger than night. There are moments when heaven speaks, not through words, but through patterns, numbers, symbols, alignments that seem too perfect to be coincidence. You've seen it before. Certain numbers appear again and again, almost whispering your name in a language your spirit recognizes. These are not accidents. They are signals, divine confirmations that say, you are still on the path. For a long time, you might have dismissed them as imagination, but creation itself communicates. The same God who ordered galaxies into motion also weaves meaning into repetition. These divine sequences are his fingerprints, scattered gently through your days to remind you that you're not wandering aimlessly, you're being guided. When your inner weapon begins to awaken, you'll start to notice these signs more often. They appear in ordinary moments: a glance at a clock, a street sign, a receipt, and something inside you quickens. You don't fully understand it, but your spirit recognizes the rhythm. Heaven is speaking your private language, as it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10. Be still, and know that I am God. Because in stillness, you see patterns that rushing eyes can't. In quietness, you begin to perceive that even numbers can carry whispers of divine reassurance. Prophetic numbers are not magic. They're not luck or superstition. They are reminders, echoes of alignment. Heaven uses them to say, you're not lost, you're exactly where I placed you. And there's one number that has begun to surround this season, appearing like a rhythm pulsing beneath time itself: 555. To many, it's random, but to the attuned heart, it carries the vibration of transformation and divine grace multiplied. It speaks of release, renewal, and the unfolding of purpose after the waiting. When 555 finds you, it's heaven's gentle tap on your shoulder. The shift is here. Don't fear the change. It's me. You may have felt things shaking lately, doors closing, new ones opening, relationships rearranging, but it's not chaos. It's calibration. You are being aligned to the next stage of your assignment. Think of it like the changing of the tide. The waves pull back, gathering strength, before surging forward again. That's what transformation feels like: a retreat before the rise. Heaven always works in patterns. Even creation knows when to pause before it blossoms. The number doesn't come to predict your future, it comes to steady your faith. When you see it, you're being invited to breathe, to trust, to release your grip on what no longer fits. It's heaven's way of saying, you are safe in the shift. Nay, so if you've seen 555 more than once, don't ignore it. Don't chase it. Simply acknowledge it as a conversation between you and God. Let it anchor you in peace instead of curiosity. Let it remind you that transformation isn't punishment, it's promotion. You are not being undone, you're being unfolded. The version of you that once struggled to believe is giving way to a version that walks in clarity. The old is shedding quietly. The new is emerging powerfully. Now, if your spirit resonates with this, if you sense that this word is yours, go to the comments and write 555. Not as ritual, not as superstition, but as declaration. You're saying, I accept the transformation. I welcome the new season. I trust the grace guiding me forward. Every time someone writes 555, it's like a spark in the spiritual atmosphere, a collective agreement that change, though uncertain, can still be holy. It's an act of alignment, a prophetic nod that says, I'm ready to move when heaven moves. You are not the same person you were last season. The shifting around you is proof of that. The number is not coincidence, it's confirmation. Heaven is coding your story with purpose, using even the language of time to guide your steps. Stay still enough to notice. Stay humble enough to learn. Stay brave enough to move. The same God who placed the stars in sequence has aligned your moments with grace. And 555, this sign of renewal, is his reminder that you're stepping into something entirely new. And heaven walks with you every step of the way. And when you write 555, understand what you're really declaring. You're saying, I choose to evolve. You're opening your hands and letting go of what can't follow you into the new season. You're affirming that grace has already gone ahead of you, that even if you don't know the full picture, heaven does. 555 is not a code to unlock miracles. It's a mirror reflecting your readiness. It symbolizes divine motion, the triple wave of change carrying you from survival to strength, from waiting to walking, from calling to fulfillment. Being chosen has never meant being understood. In fact, the mark of the chosen is often rejection. You've felt it, the sideways glances, the subtle distance, the people who once drew near only to quietly disappear. They didn't leave because you failed. They left because your presence revealed what they weren't ready to face. Light exposes. Light also separates. When heaven places a weapon inside someone, not everyone around them can handle the vibration it carries. Some will feel drawn to you, sensing peace they can't explain. Others will feel uneasy, threatened by a strength they can't define. Both reactions are proof of the same thing. You carry something powerful. The pain of rejection cuts deep because you weren't made to live disconnected. Your heart was designed for love, for belonging, for divine partnership. Yet, even Jesus, pure love in human form, was rejected in his own hometown. Rejection for the chosen is never random. It is redirection. Heaven removes who cannot walk where you're going. There's a story of a man named Elias, a quiet soul who prayed for friendship, for community, for someone to see the fire burning inside him. Instead, one by one, people drifted away. He thought he had done something wrong. Years later, When his calling fully unfolded, he looked back and realized if he had kept those same people close, they would have pulled him off the path before he ever reached his destiny. What he saw as loneliness had been divine protection all along. Sometimes rejection is God's mercy disguised as heartbreak. He lets people misunderstand you so that your dependence shifts from their approval to his direction. Every no from man is an invisible yes from heaven. When they stop seeing your worth, God begins revealing your value. As written in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 18, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. And if the pain you feel doesn't mean you're unworthy, it means you belong to a kingdom that this world doesn't fully recognize. It's natural to grieve the absence of people you once trusted. Let yourself feel it, but don't let it anchor you. Rejection is not a wall meant to trap you. It's a door meant to turn you. The sooner you stop chasing closed doors, the sooner your feet will find the open ones. And sometimes, heaven orchestrates the distance, not because others are evil, but because their season in your story has ended. Just as leaves must fall for the tree to survive winter, some relationships must release for you to keep growing. The tree doesn't hate the leaves, it honors them, then lets them go. When your weapon begins to radiate light, it will naturally shift the atmosphere around you. Not everyone is meant to stand that close to the fire. Some will misinterpret your glow as arrogance. Some will question your peace because it threatens their chaos. But you must remain steady. A lighthouse doesn't dim its beam just because the ships feel exposed by it. This is the paradox of being chosen. You crave connection, yet you are called to distinction. You long for belonging, yet you are marked for set-apartness. You want to blend, but heaven has branded you as a signal. When you understand this, rejection stops feeling like punishment and starts looking like refinement. God is not keeping you from people. He's keeping your light from being diluted. The ones meant to walk with you will recognize the fire, not fear it. They will see your weapon and not be intimidated, but inspired. Until then, walk in quiet confidence. You do not need to defend your calling to those who left. The fruit will speak louder than your explanations. Time will prove what words could never convince. The same ones who doubted will one day see the glory that rejection refined in you. And when that moment comes, don't gloat. Don't point back with pride. Smile gently, because grace never seeks revenge. What rejection stole, purpose will restore. What isolation broke, destiny will rebuild stronger, purer, unshakable. So, lift your head. The ache of rejection is the birth pain of recognition. What left was never meant to stay. What stays now will never need to leave. Heaven has separated you to safeguard what you carry. You are not alone. You are being positioned. Even in solitude, heaven stands beside you. Even in silence, God's whisper fills the air. Every empty space left by people is now being filled with divine presence. And when you finally look around, you'll realize you were never rejected, only redirected toward your rightful circle. The ones who see you not as competition, but as confirmation. The greatest training ground for a chosen one is not the battlefield, it's the shadows. The seasons when no one is watching, when prayers echo back in silence, when the heavens feel closed and progress feels invisible. You've lived through those moments, wondering if God had forgotten your name. But those hidden years were never wasted. They were the forge where your weapon was shaped. Every hero of heaven has walked through obscurity. Joseph's purpose was revealed in Pharaoh's palace, but his power was formed in prison. David's anointing came through Samuel's oil, but his character was carved in the caves of Adullam. Jesus himself spent 30 years in quiet before 3 years of miracles. Heaven always hides what it's perfecting. Your trials were not punishment, they were precision. Every setback, every delay, every unanswered prayer was part of a divine training system that prepared you to carry power without pride and authority, without arrogance. In the silence, you learned to hear God's voice through stillness. In the waiting, you learned to trust His timing when nothing made sense. That's what separates the chosen from the called. Endurance refined in obscurity. You may not have realized it then, but every hardship carried a lesson. The betrayal taught you discernment. The disappointment taught you dependency. The closed door taught you redirection. Each experience was sharpening your weapon's edge, not dulling it. Heaven never wastes pain. It converts it into precision. The Word of God declares in the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 3, "The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart." That's exactly what those long nights were, tests of the heart. And though it burned, it also purified. What once triggered panic now triggers prayer. What once broke you now builds you. The forge of heaven is not a place of comfort, it's a place of shaping. When a swordsmith crafts a blade, he heats the metal until it glows, then hammers it repeatedly. Every strike brings structure. Every blow forms balance. Without the pressure, the weapon would remain brittle. In the same way, every challenge that hit your life was heaven's hammer shaping strength into your soul. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared to carry weight. You were learning to walk through fire without burning, to withstand pressure without bending. The season that almost broke you was actually building your capacity for what's ahead. There were nights when you felt forgotten, when your prayers returned unanswered. But God was not ignoring you, He was insulating you. Like a musician tuning an instrument in a silent room, heaven was adjusting your frequency until you could resonate with divine harmony. You were being trained to move by faith, not applause. The hidden season demanded stillness, and that stillness became your strength. You began to see that spiritual power isn't loud, it's rooted. You discovered that true authority doesn't come from titles or recognition, but from submission. You learned to fight battles no one saw, and that's why you can now walk with peace no one understands. Sometimes training looks like loss. Heaven strips away what is fragile so that what remains cannot be shaken. The people who walked away were not distractions, they were pruning. The plans that collapsed were not failures, they were redirections. You were never losing, you were being refined. And slowly, something changed. You began to stop asking, "Why me?" and started saying, "Prepare me." That shift marked your graduation. The wilderness became your classroom, and every trial became a teacher. The weapon within you stopped trembling and started glowing. Now, when storms come, you no longer panic, you remember. You remember the fires you've survived. You remember the caves that didn't crush you. You remember the seasons where you walked through silence and came out stronger. That memory becomes armor. That endurance becomes evidence. Others may look at you and see calm strength, but only heaven knows the fires you've walked through to earn that peace. You're not fearless because life has been easy. You're fearless because you've seen God's faithfulness in fire. Every scar on your spirit is a line of scripture written by experience. Every tear is a verse of testimony. You've been forged into something unbreakable, something holy, something history hasn't seen before. The training in shadows is over now. The hammering has stopped. You've come out of the furnace, not fragile, but refined, gleaming with purpose, humming with power. And as you step into what's ahead, you'll realize the same fire that once tested you now bows to you, because you carry within you the proof that even in darkness, light can be forged. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when the weapon within them is no longer just potential, it becomes command. You begin to realize that your words are no longer ordinary. They carry weight. They carry consequence. You speak, and the atmosphere responds. You pray, and the invisible trembles. This is not imagination, it's authority awakening. You've reached the point where silence is no longer enough. The power that has been forming through your pain, you're waiting, and your obedience now demands to be spoken. Heaven has entrusted you with a language that carries light. Every word you release becomes a strike in the spirit, a sound that breaks chains and builds bridges. It's not about volume, it's about vibration. When your words align with heaven's will, they echo through realms unseen. That is why your speech matters now more than ever. The weapon inside you is sound. The battlefield is not around you. It begins in your mouth. When you speak truth, you swing your sword. When you declare faith over fear, hope over despair, promise over panic, you engage in divine warfare. This is why darkness tried to silence you for so long. It wasn't after your joy or your peace. It was after your voice. Because your voice is the trigger of your weapon. As written in the book of Job, chapter 22, verse 28, you will also decree a thing, and it will be established for you, and light will shine on your ways. That is heaven's blueprint for you. Declarations establish reality. The words you speak in faith build the future you are meant to live in. You've prayed in private long enough. Now heaven is calling you to proclaim in public. But understand this: your voice carries creative power only when it's anchored in humility. You don't command from pride, you command from alignment. The chosen one doesn't shout to prove, they speak to create. Your authority doesn't come from volume, it comes from connection. There's a reason God spent years refining your heart before releasing your weapon. Power without purity becomes destruction. But now, your purity has become your permission. The trials that humbled you have made your voice trustworthy. Heaven knows you won't misuse what you've been given. Now you must speak intentionally. Speak life into your own spirit. Speak peace into your home. Speak courage into those who've forgotten their worth. When you speak, angels move. When you declare, chains tremble. The sound that leaves your mouth carries the same creative DNA that once shaped galaxies. Still, you'll face moments of doubt. You'll wonder if your voice really matters. But remember, even creation began with a whisper. Let there be light. The universe itself responded to a word. So does your world. When you speak faith, heaven multiplies it. When you stay silent out of fear, the battlefield remains empty. So rise and use your weapon wisely. Every declaration is a seed. Don't speak carelessly, because seeds grow. Don't speak defeat, because words become walls. Speak what aligns with heaven's truth, and watch it manifest around you. There's someone right now who needs to hear your voice, someone whose faith depends on your obedience to speak. You've carried revelation for too long. It's time to release it. You are no longer a listener, only you are a mouthpiece of heaven. And if this truth burns within you, if you feel your spirit awaken as you read this, go to the comments and write, "The sound lives." And write it as a declaration, not decoration. You're saying, "My silence ends here. My weapon is alive. My words will carry heaven's sound." And every time someone writes, "The sound lives," it vibrates like a bell in the unseen, echoing faith, courage, and resurrection. It's the anthem of those who've rediscovered their voice, who know that light speaks louder than fear. You've listened long enough. Now the sound must live through you. And when it does, even the silence will remember your name. When you write, "The sound lives," understand what that truly means. It's not just a comment, it's a covenant. You're declaring that your spirit has found its frequency again, that your voice will no longer echo fear, but faith. The phrase itself becomes a spiritual signal, a reminder to your soul that you were born to shift atmospheres through sound. The sound lives means the voice within you refuses to die in silence. It represents resurrection, the return of expression, courage, and conviction. It means your spirit has chosen to vibrate in harmony with heaven once more. Every time you see those words, remember, they carry the energy of divine continuity. The same voice that spoke creation into existence now speaks through you. And when you release your words with purity and truth, the heavens recognize the sound, and they respond. Destiny is never quiet forever. There comes a time when the plans of heaven collide with the life of the chosen. You can feel it. The rhythm of your days begins to change. It's like the air itself thickens with purpose. Things that once satisfied you no longer do. You start to sense that the next step isn't a choice, it's a calling. That's the moment when destiny and your weapon meet face to face. It doesn't arrive with thunder or trumpets. It comes like dawn, soft but undeniable. You wake one morning and realize that you can't go back to who you were. The fire inside has outgrown the shell that once contained it. The purpose that once whispered now speaks. Every part of your story starts to align. Like stars drawing constellations, only heaven could design. You might look around and see little evidence of change, but something massive is shifting beneath the surface. The ground of your life is trembling with new birth. Everything that once felt wasted is now being woven into the design of destiny. Even the mistakes are turning into meaning. As the prophet Isaiah wrote, chapter 43, verse 19, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." This is what destiny looks like. It doesn't erase your past, it redeems it. It turns the wilderness into a way forward. The streams begin to flow where everything once seemed barren. That's the beauty of divine timing. It transforms dry ground into promise fulfilled. And in moments like these, when heaven's river begins to flow, it's natural to want to pour something back, to give, to serve, to be part of the movement that once revived you. That impulse isn't pressure, it's participation. You don't give to earn grace, you give because grace already found you. When you like this message, think of it as planting a small seed of gratitude. The act may be simple, but the soil it falls into is eternal. Your click isn't just support, it's a soft amen to the truth that touched your soul. When you share, it's like passing a lantern through a dark hallway. Someone else, maybe on the verge of giving up, will see your light and find their way home. That single action might change more than you'll ever know. When you subscribe, imagine yourself building a bridge between hearts, a community of souls walking together under one flame. Subscription isn't about numbers, it's about belonging. It's saying, I want to keep walking with the light. And if your heart feels drawn, if you've found healing, courage, or clarity through these words, then consider adding oil to the flame. When you donate, think of it not as giving something away, but as feeding the fire that once warmed you. A flame doesn't survive on admiration, it lives on contribution. Every small drop of oil keeps the light burning for someone still searching in the night. You are not being asked, you are being invited. Invited to be part of something living, breathing, and sacred. To help this message reach those who sit in silence right now, unaware that heaven is already whispering their name. Your generosity, whether in love, time, prayer, or giving, becomes a mirror of heaven's own heart. Because the same way God multiplies loaves and fishes, He multiplies moments of faith. Every act of support expands the reach of light. No one is obligated to give, but for those who feel the pull, it's one of the most beautiful ways to say, I believe in what this light is doing. When you give freely, you align yourself with the nature of heaven, the nature that creates, redeems, and multiplies. And if all you can offer today is presence, that is enough. Presence is priceless. Listening with an open heart, carrying the message forward in your life, that is also a form of giving. Heaven measures generosity in sincerity, not size. So wherever you are right now, pause and feel this. You are part of something divine unfolding. This is not a ministry of words, it's a movement of hearts. And you, chosen one, are one of its torches. If you feel led, like this message, as a quiet act of gratitude, share it to hand the light onward. Subscribe to stay in the rhythm of revelation. And if your heart whispers yes, donate as an act of love, like placing another log on the fire so that warmth can continue to spread. Because in the end, that's all. This is a circle of light, a field of flames refusing to go out. Every gesture, every offering, every act of faith becomes part of a story far bigger than any of us. And when that story is told, the light that began here through your yes, through your giving, through your faith, will still be burning, guiding the next soul home. When heaven awakens your weapon, the enemy always attempts a counterfeit. For every true light, there's a flicker of imitation. For every divine voice, there's an echo built to distract. And if you're not discerning, imitation can sound almost holy. It carries the same words, the same rhythm, but not the same spirit. The counterfeit always flatters what the true anointing refines. Discernment becomes the sharp edge of your weapon now. You've stepped into a realm where deception is subtle, where darkness doesn't roar, it whispers. It doesn't come dressed in hatred, it comes dressed in opportunity. It tells you, you can have the promise without the process, the crown without the cross, the influence without the intimacy. This is the enemy's favorite trap for the chosen. It offers shortcuts to places that only obedience can reach. And yet, every counterfeit promise carries the same outcome: emptiness. It shines bright at first, but fades quickly, leaving the soul hungry again, because only what is born from truth can satisfy truth. The voice of deception often mimics divine language. It speaks of destiny, calling, and success, but twists the motive. It invites you to chase visibility instead of value, applause instead of purpose, validation instead of presence. And if you're not anchored in intimacy with God, it can sound convincing. The Apostle Paul warned in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 14, "For Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light." Not every shining thing is sacred. Not every open door is divine. Not every opportunity carries blessing. That's why discernment has become your armor in this new stage of awakening. There's a story told among the ancients about a warrior who was given 2 swords, one forged by heaven, one made by men. The human sword was polished, gleaming, beautifully carved. The heavenly sword was rough, unadorned, but pulsed with life. In battle, the warrior chose the polished blade. It shattered on the first strike. Only when he lifted the plain, heavenly sword, did he realize its power was not in its appearance, but in the breath that forged it. You are that warrior. Every time you choose truth over glamour, patience over pride, obedience over opportunity, you are wielding the real sword. Heaven's strength is never loud. It's steady. It's pure. There will be people who try to mimic what you carry. They will use the same words, even the same tone, but something in you will feel off. That's your discernment speaking. The counterfeit carries noise. The authentic carries peace. The counterfeit drains. The authentic restores. Don't despise imitation. It's proof that the real thing exists. If your calling were insignificant, there would be no need for imitation. The enemy only counterfeits what threatens him. Every false version of your gift is a distorted reflection of how powerful your true one is. So, how do you stay safe? By staying simple, by staying surrendered, by measuring everything through love and peace. The Spirit never manipulates, never rushes, never flatters. The Spirit confirms quietly, consistently, through alignment and inner knowing. When your weapon is real, you don't need to prove it. Authentic authority carries its own evidence. When you walk into a room with genuine light, imitation fades on its own. You don't have to fight for validation. Truth reveals itself over time. You'll notice that people drawn to the counterfeit chase outcomes, while those drawn to truth crave transformation. The counterfeit builds platforms, the authentic builds people. That's how you'll know the difference. This is why your hidden years mattered. They purified your motives. God wasn't keeping success from you. He was keeping imitation out of you. He needed your heart anchored so deeply that no false light could lure you away from His. And now, as your weapon matures, discernment will become your shield. You'll move through spaces where deception thrives, but it won't touch you, because what's inside you is calibrated to heaven's frequency. You'll feel it instantly when something's off, like a note out of tune in a perfect melody. Remember, the counterfeit always fades. The true remains. What's born of heaven doesn't need to compete. It endures. What's real doesn't rush. It resonates. You don't have to fear deception when your eyes are fixed on truth. Keep your weapon pure, and even shadows will serve you. For when light stands firm, every false glow loses its power. And when you encounter imitation again, smile. You'll recognize it not with anger, but with peace. You'll know that what's false can't survive near what's true. The counterfeit may echo, but it can't carry life, because only truth breathes. Only authenticity endures. And what's inside you was never meant to fade. There are times when heaven opens its seals, not with thunder, but with quiet unveiling. You may not hear a trumpet, yet something in your spirit knows this is it. The moment the hidden becomes visible, the appointed time arrives. All the waiting, all the tears, all the refining start to make sense. The seal is breaking, and the weapon within you is being revealed in full strength. You feel it in subtle ways. At first, a new confidence in prayer, a sudden courage to speak truth, a peace that doesn't depend on circumstance. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. You're becoming conscious of what heaven has entrusted to you. For the first time, you understand that this weapon isn't something you control, it's something you carry. The breaking of seals is never gentle. It shakes what's been settled. It exposes what's been hidden, but it also releases what's been waiting. When God breaks a seal in your life, He's not destroying something, He's releasing what's been sealed for the right time. The very pressure you've felt lately, that intensity in your spirit, is the sound of the seal cracking open. As written in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, see, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. And that's what it feels like when a seal breaks. An opening. A door that once didn't exist suddenly appears. Not because you forced it, but because heaven timed it perfectly. Every seal that breaks brings revelation. Suddenly, old pain reveals purpose. Past silence becomes strategy. You begin to see that nothing was wasted, not the betrayal, not the heartbreak, not even the years you thought were lost. Everything has become part of a larger pattern, stitched together by grace. The breaking of the seal also brings clarity. You start to see who's truly for you and who's been quietly holding you back. It's not about judgment, it's about alignment. As heaven reveals your next chapter, it naturally rearranges the characters in your story. Those who belong to your next level will rise with you. Those who don't will quietly drift away. This is divine separation, not personal failure. God is pruning so that fruit can flourish. You cannot carry yesterday's crowd into tomorrow's calling. Some connections were good for your growth, but not for your glory. When a seal breaks, heaven trusts you with secrets, insights, strategies, dreams that carry instruction. You begin to dream differently, to feel like every coincidence suddenly has a message hidden within it. This is what it means to live awake, to walk with the awareness that every step now carries divine significance. But understand this, revelation without humility becomes corruption. What God is showing you isn't meant to inflate you, it's meant to position you. The true evidence that a seal has broken is not arrogance, it's alignment. You'll find yourself moving with quiet authority, confident yet gentle, powerful yet peaceful. Some will not understand the shift. They'll think you've changed, and they're right. But what they see as change, heaven calls transformation. You've outgrown your old limitations. You've become what the silence was always shaping you into. The world around you may still look the same, but within you, everything is different. You hear heaven more clearly. You sense purpose more precisely. You know that this awakening isn't temporary, it's permanent. The seal cannot be resealed. Once the revelation comes, it keeps unfolding. Now, pause for a moment and take this in. You're walking in a new level of clarity. Heaven's blueprint for your life is no longer hidden. It's being revealed in steps. You don't need to understand it all. You just need to trust that every step forward is ordered. And if your heart feels this stirring, if you know something within you has just opened, then mark this moment with faith. Go to the comments and write the number 888, not as superstition, but as symbolic agreement with heaven's timing. 888 represents new beginnings, resurrection, and divine overflow. It's heaven's way of saying, you've completed one cycle. The next has already begun. End of 4. When you write 888, you're not summoning change, you're recognizing it. You're saying, I'm ready for what's been revealed. I receive what's unfolding. You're aligning your faith with the rhythm of divine renewal. This moment is sacred. The seal is broken. The light you carry is no longer hidden. The next chapter isn't coming, it's here. Write it. Declare it. 888, the sign of new beginnings, the echo of resurrection, the seal of divine completion and continuation. The heavens are open, and your weapon now shines in full. When the seal breaks, revelation doesn't end, it multiplies. It begins to flow through you like light, refracting through a prism, scattering into colors you've never seen before. Suddenly, you start recognizing other flames, other chosen ones who carry the same fire in their eyes. You were never meant to walk alone. Heaven never anoints one for isolation. It anoints one to lead many. This is the season of convergence, the gathering of torchbearers. One flame can light a room, but 100 can set a world ablaze. What was once scattered begins to align. You start encountering people whose words sound like echoes of your own prayers. Their battles look familiar. Their breakthroughs mirror yours. It's not coincidence, it's connection. The same God who trained you in silence has been preparing others in their own caves. And now, He's bringing the carriers together. You'll recognize them not by their titles or appearance, but by their spirit. They move differently, quietly, powerful, fiercely gentle, radiant without arrogance. They are not competing for light, they are contributing to it. In a world obsessed with comparison, they shine in unity. Together, they form what heaven calls a crown of carriers, a circle of those who've endured fire and emerged as light. You might remember times when you felt unseen, unheard, or misunderstood. That loneliness shaped you, but it was never meant to be your permanent address. Every chosen one must first learn solitude before they can handle sacred community. Solitude builds depth, community builds reach. And now, it's time for reach. As the Apostle wrote in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 27, "Now you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it." That's what this gathering represents, a body, not a hierarchy. No one stands above another. Each carries a piece of divine strategy. You were trained in a unique language of obedience, and so were they. When your lights blend, they don't compete, they complete. The crown is not made of jewels, it's made of hearts aligned with heaven. Every act of obedience adds another gem. Every life touched becomes another shining point. Together, You form something radiant enough to reflect the King himself. There's beauty in realizing that leadership in the kingdom doesn't look like control, it looks like service. To be crowned is to carry responsibility, not rank. You are not being exalted, you are being entrusted. The true sign of divine leadership is not that people follow you, but that they encounter God because of you. In this next phase, your weapon doesn't just protect, it empowers. You'll start to speak life into others, to awaken in them the same fire that awakened in you. The very strength that once shielded you will now become a covering for others. You'll notice people drawn to you not for advice, but for presence, because your presence, filled with peace, becomes permission for them to believe again, to dream again, to rise again. And as this community of carriers forms, something extraordinary happens. Unity amplifies power. One whisper becomes a roar. One prayer becomes a wave. The atmosphere begins to shift wherever you gather. The light of the chosen doesn't just shine, it spreads, weaving across lives like threads of gold in a divine tapestry. Still, this rise will demand humility. Great light attracts both awe and envy. Remember, your focus is not fame, it's faithfulness. Guard your heart from pride, and guard your unity from division. Darkness knows it cannot destroy the chosen, so it tries to divide them. Don't let it. Protect the bond with gentleness and grace. The crown of carriers is not worn on your head, it's carried in your heart. It's invisible to the world, but undeniable in the spirit. When you walk together, hell trembles, because unity among the chosen is unstoppable. This is what all the refining was, for not for a throne, but for a table, not for superiority, but for service. You've been called to gather, not to rule, to lift, not to lord. And one day, when you look around and see others walking beside you, eyes bright, spirit strong, you'll realize something profound. This was never just your story. It was always ours. The crown was never about glory. It was always about gathering. And now, that gathering has begun. And as the gathering expands, the light begins to hum like a living heartbeat across the earth. Every voice, every prayer, every act of love forms a chord in heaven's song. You realize you were never just carrying a weapon, you were carrying harmony. The crown glows brighter now, not because of you alone, but because unity has become worship. When many flames move as one, the world begins to change. The atmosphere shifts not through noise or spectacle, but through quiet, relentless radiance. It's the power of unity forged in fire, the unstoppable momentum of those who've been refined and released. You are part of that movement now, and your weapon has reached full manifestation. It no longer belongs only to you, it belongs to the mission. At this stage, the weapon doesn't just shine, it shapes reality. It cuts through despair, disarms deception, and heals what once seemed unhealable. You start to notice that your very presence transforms environments. Peace follows you into conflict. Hope follows you into loss. Light follows you into darkness. You don't force it, you are it. And yet, with great manifestation comes great responsibility. Heaven entrusts visible power only to those who've learned invisible surrender. You've walked through the silence, through the shadows, through rejection and revelation. Now, What was once hidden within you radiates openly. But the danger of visibility is subtle. It tempts the heart to forget who the true source is. The story of your power is not about you. It's about what flows through you. Like rivers that never drink their own water, your gift exists to refresh others. Every miracle, every word of life, every act of restoration is heaven's flow through a vessel that has learned to stay empty enough to stay full. As written in the Gospel of John, chapter 7, verse 38, "Whoever believes in me," as Scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them. Oh, that's what your weapon has become, a river, not a sword. Early on, it fought. Now, it nourishes. Once, it cut through darkness. Now, it cultivates light. Maturity doesn't replace power, it refines it. You've moved from warfare to wisdom, from striking to sustaining. The greatest warriors in the kingdom are the ones who've learned to build. Anyone can destroy darkness. Few can nurture dawn. You've been trusted with dawn. You carry the kind of light that doesn't just expose, it heals, it teaches, comforts, and invites others into freedom. You'll find yourself drawn to people who are standing at the edge of their own awakening. They'll come broken, uncertain, weary, and you'll know exactly what to do, not because of strategy, but because you remember. You'll speak from experience, from scars that have become sacred maps. The comfort you once begged for now flows through you effortlessly. But even as this light expands, you'll still need to guard your heart. Power attracts attention, and attention can become a trap. Some will praise you, others will question you. Neither defines you. Remember, your value was set before anyone ever knew your name. Let humility remain your armor. Let compassion remain your compass. The higher the light rises, the deeper the roots must go. If pride enters, the river clogs. But when humility stays, the current never stops. In this season, your prayers will shift. You'll find yourself praying less for rescue and more for reach. You'll stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "Who else?" That's the mark of a mature weapon. It stops fighting for survival and starts fighting for others' freedom. Every person you touch, every word you speak, every act of grace you release will ripple outward like concentric circles on still water. The impact may start small, but it will spread further than your eyes can see. That's how the kingdom moves quietly, consistently, without applause, yet with eternal consequence. You've become what you were forged to be, a vessel of light in motion, a living reminder that God can take ashes and shape them into fire that doesn't consume but warms. There will be moments when the magnitude of it all humbles you. Tears may come, not of sorrow, but of awe. You'll look back and realize that every shadow served a purpose. Every wound became a window. The weapon that once trembled in your hands now flows like water through your being, effortless and alive. This is the fullness of manifestation, not spectacle, not status, but stillness that glows. The quiet knowing that heaven trusts you completely. You are no longer fighting to prove your worth. You are living as proof of His faithfulness. And the light that moves through you now will not fade, because it is no longer yours to carry alone. It belongs to eternity, and eternity never dims. And as eternity breathes through you, everything ordinary begins to shimmer with purpose. The sunrise feels different. The wind feels alive. You finally see that the sacred was never far. It was waiting inside you all along. You are no longer just a vessel of light. You are its continuation. When light matures, it stops trying to prove that it shines. It simply glows steady, quiet, certain. That's where you are now. You've walked through the long nights, survived the silence, carried your weapon through fire and refinement. And now, your light no longer flickers, it radiates. It's no longer about becoming, it's about being. You've entered the season of overflow. It's that sacred place where what you carry starts to spill naturally into the world around you. You're not forcing it anymore. You're not striving for impact. It's happening simply because you exist in alignment. Every word you speak, every gesture of kindness, every prayer breathed in secret becomes a ripple in eternity. People begin to find you, not because you chase attention, but because heaven has placed your light on a hill. You've become a living lighthouse, guiding those who drift in emotional fog, those who've lost sight of shore. You don't have to shout across the waves. Your light does the calling. As written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. That's who you are now, a city of quiet brilliance. A vessel built not for hiding, but for harboring others. And this city thrives through connection. Light isn't meant to exist alone. It's meant to reflect, to multiply, to merge with other flames until night loses meaning. If these words have touched something deep in you, if you've felt even a flicker of recognition, like your spirit whispering, "Yes, that's me," then pause, breathe, let gratitude rise. This connection between us, between you and this message, isn't accidental. It's a strand in heaven's tapestry, one golden thread touching another. And if your heart wants to respond, if you feel moved to keep this light alive, then let your actions become your thank you. When you like, it's like striking a match in darkness, saying, "I see the light, and I'm keeping it burning." Now, when you share, imagine releasing a lantern into the night sky. Someone far away, whose spirit is dimming, might look up and see that glow and find hope again. When you subscribe, it's not an act of following, it's an act of joining, a joining of lights, a building of the unseen city. It says, "I belong to this flame, I want to grow with it." No. And if your soul feels drawn to give, if generosity stirs quietly inside, you think of donation not as transaction, but as rain. Rain doesn't choose where to fall. It nourishes whatever it touches. When you give, you're watering the soil of someone else's awakening. You're helping this light continue to reach the ones still walking through the dark. And perhaps, after listening, something in you wants to speak back. Then, do it softly. Leave a comment as if you're writing your own flame into the story. A few honest words, a line of gratitude, a thought that shines. That's how your light joins ours. Your comment becomes another spark in this growing constellation. You're not required to do it. Heaven doesn't measure love in currency. But when your heart whispers yes, it's beautiful to obey that whisper. It's not about money. It's about motion, about keeping the river of light flowing freely from one soul to another. So if you've been moved, like this message as you're quiet, amen. Share it as a way of saying, let this light travel. Subscribe if you wish to walk together as these revelations continue to unfold. And if your heart leads you to give, donate as if you're adding another log to a communal fire, a fire that never belongs to one, but warms all who gather near it. Remember, your participation is not demanded, it's desired only if it feels right in your spirit. Every choice you make in freedom shines brighter than any action made from duty. That's how true giving works. It breathes. It blesses. It belongs to love. Each act, every comment, every whisper of thank you, every unseen prayer becomes a small beam joining a network of light. Together, those beams form bridges that heaven walks across to reach hearts that still think they're alone. So let your response today, whatever it is, come from love. Love that gives without keeping count. Love that listens more than it demands. Love that moves like water, quiet but unstoppable. Because when many lights love together, darkness doesn't even know where to hide. And if nothing else, carry this truth with you. You are proof that light survives, that faith still breathes, that hope can be reborn in anyone who dares to believe again. Keep shining, chosen one. Keep giving warmth. Keep being the evidence that heaven is still alive in human hearts. When the circle of light grows strong enough, it begins to hum with a sound that is not of this world, a resonance born of unity, truth, and divine alignment. You can feel it even now, that subtle vibration that runs beneath all creation, connecting every soul awakened by purpose. It's the same sound that whispered to you when your journey first began. Now louder, clearer, surer. This is the sound of legacy. It is not about fame or remembrance in human history. It is about continuation in divine memory. Legacy, for the chosen, is not what you leave behind. It's what you set in motion. Every word of truth, every act of compassion, every choice to stand firm becomes a ripple that moves beyond time. You are now standing in the stage where impact turns into inheritance. The light you've carried doesn't end with you, it transfers. You've become a bridge between generations, the continuation of those who came before, and the preparation for those who will come after. That's why your existence matters more than you realize. You are part of an unbroken chain of light, stretching from eternity past into eternity future. The Word of God declares in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1, "Since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us run with perseverance the race set before us." That cloud of witnesses isn't distant, it's near. The faithful who came before you, those who burned bright in their time, watch as you carry their flame forward. The same spirit that moved in them now burns in you. Heaven's story continues. Through your obedience, this realization changes how you live. You stop rushing. You start listening. You understand that your role is not to finish everything, but to continue something holy. You realize that even the smallest act of faith becomes part of a larger design that will keep unfolding long after your own breath ends. There's peace in that. You no longer feel the pressure to prove or perform. Legacy doesn't compete, it contributes. You begin to see life as a relay, not a race. Every prayer you pray, every word you write, every life you touch is a handoff of light to someone else who will run their part of the course. This is why your endurance mattered. The seasons you thought were wasted were actually moments when the baton was being forged in your hands. Your patience, your faithfulness, your survival through storms, all of it built the strength you'll now pass on. The next generation will not have to start from scratch. They'll start from your endurance. But legacy isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It moves quietly, like the roots of a great tree spreading beneath the soil. You may never see its full reach, but you can feel its strength beneath your feet. Every act of kindness you release, every truth you live by, it all seeps into the ground of human hearts, becoming nourishment for those who will one day bloom where you once bled. And even as time moves forward, your spirit remains part of the pattern. You won't fade into history. You'll echo in eternity. The prayers you prayed will still breathe. The light you released will still travel. The love you gave will still ripple across generations. That's how divine legacy works. It never dies. It only transforms. You are living proof that eternity touches earth. The decisions you make now, how you love, how you forgive, how you serve, are shaping a lineage of light that will outlive your years. Heaven's measure of success has never been recognition. It has always been remembrance. And you, chosen one, will be remembered not in monuments or books, but in the warmth you've left behind. Even the stars you see tonight carry the light of something long gone, yet still shining. That's what you are becoming, a spiritual constellation. Your faith will keep shining long after the moment has passed, guiding others who look up from their own night skies, wondering if hope still exists. It does. You're proof of it. And when you one day step beyond this world into the next, you'll see what all of this was, for the threads you couldn't see, the people you unknowingly touched, the ripples that became rivers of grace. You'll realize that legacy was never about what you achieved. It was about what you awakened. You are the continuation of divine story, the living echo of eternal purpose, the flame that refuses to go out. At the end of every divine journey comes a silence so deep it almost feels like music. It's not emptiness, it's completion. The air grows still. The spirit quiets. And for the first time, you realize that every battle, every prayer, every tear has found its meaning. You stand at the edge of everything you once dreamed of. And the world looks different, not because it changed, but because you have. You've become something more than you ever imagined. Not just a warrior, not just a vessel, but a living sanctuary. The weapon that once burned inside you has become part of your being. It no longer hums with strain, it rests, perfectly balanced with peace. What was once fire is now light. What was once struggle is now song. In this silence, you finally understand that victory was never about triumphing over others. It was about conquering yourself. The old fears, the old doubts, the need to prove they dissolve in the presence of divine fulfillment. You've learned that real strength doesn't roar, it radiates. The path of the chosen one was never meant to end in noise. It ends in stillness that glows a holy quiet where heaven and earth touch and recognize each other. That's where you stand now, not at the finish line, but at the threshold of eternity. As written in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 6, "It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end." Those words echo softly through your spirit. It is done, not because the story has ended, but because it has come full circle. Every part of your journey, joy and grief, loss and renewal, silence and song, was a chapter in a divine composition. You were the melody heaven wrote through time. Now, you begin to see with eternal eyes. You look back and understand why certain doors closed, why certain hearts drifted away, why certain seasons broke you open. Every event was a sculptor's touch, shaping you into a vessel capable of holding light without leaking. You were never being punished, you were being perfected. It's humbling to realize that the greatest miracles were not the ones that happened around you, but the ones that happened within you. Faith that once flickered now burns steady. Love that once wavered now anchors. Peace that once seemed unreachable now lives in you effortlessly. And in this quiet realization, gratitude rises, not the kind you say out loud, but the kind that sits in your bones. You breathe, and it's worship. You exist, and it's praise. You've become a living hallelujah. You remember the beginning of your journey, the confusion, the doubt, the desperate prayers whispered through tears. Now, when you look back, you see a thread of grace weaving through every moment. You see how even your mistakes were used to lead you home. The same God who began the story was faithful to finish it. You don't need to chase destiny anymore. You've become it. Every breath is purpose fulfilled. Every heartbeat is a testament that heaven truly lives on earth through willing hearts. And though your journey continues in ways unseen, the striving is over. The chosen one's greatest achievement is not victory over darkness, it's union with light. You have become one with the rhythm of eternity, one with the breath of creation. Soon, others will follow this same path. They will walk through the same shadows, ask the same questions, face the same fire. And when they do, your story will guide them not as words, but as presence. You will not need to speak. The light you carry will tell them everything they need to know. It's worth it. Keep walking. The fire does not destroy, it defines. And when all is said and done, when history fades and time folds back into eternity, the echo of your obedience will still remain. It will live in every heart your light has touched, every prayer your spirit inspired, every seed of hope your endurance planted. The chosen one's legacy is eternal because it is not built on memory, it's built on transformation. You have become what heaven designed from the beginning, a reflection of divine endurance, a voice of unbroken faith, a living reminder that light never loses. And now, as you stand in the golden stillness of fulfillment, you hear it again, that quiet voice that started it all. It doesn't call you forward anymore. It simply whispers, "Well done." You smile, not out of pride, but peace. The story continues beyond words. The light remains. The story has reached its quiet horizon, but the light has not gone out. You've walked through every fire, every silence, every unveiling, and now you stand as proof that what heaven begins, it always finishes. Yet even here, the flame does not end, it spreads. If this journey has awakened something in you, if the words you've read have reminded you that your light still matters, then let your next act be your own echo of gratitude. When you like, it's as if you're pressing your hand into soft earth, leaving an imprint that says, "I was here. I received this light." When you share, imagine releasing a dove into the open sky, carrying hope beyond your reach to hearts you'll never meet. Some soul wandering through their own wilderness might look up and find direction in your gesture. And if these words have become part of your heartbeat, subscribe not to follow, but to stay connected, like a single ember that refuses to fade when joined with others. Together, we keep the fire alive. not through noise, but through presence. Finally, if your spirit whispers, yes, donate not as obligation, but as offering. Think of it as pouring another cup of oil into the lamp that burns for all of us. A little from one heart, a little from another, and the glow grows strong enough to guide thousands. Or simply leave a comment, a line, a word, even a single heart. Your message will join countless others, forming a constellation of light, a tapestry of souls who chose to believe again. No one is asked, only invited. The flame that has touched you now lives in you. Keep it alive. Keep it kind. Keep it moving forward.